Ladies and gentlemen, this RedGamingTech.com video, we're going to be further discussing the Xbox One Cloud. And this comes to us from Respawn Entertainment's engineer, John Shearing. And he's going to be further explaining in this video, or shall I say from these quotes, on exactly what advantages they're going to be using from the Xbox Cloud on their particular game. Now, I did mention that I will be putting out another video very soon, which is going to be going into a lot of detail exactly of what Windows Azure is, what Cloud is, and so forth. And that is still coming, I assure you. But I have been working this week, of course, so that will be coming most likely some point early this weekend. However, in this video it's quite interesting because, as I've said, he does give quite a lot of information. So anyway, I'm going to read you guys out some quotes and then we'll analyse it. Player-hosted servers have a lot of downsides. And he was mostly talking here about things such as cheating, lag, finding a host, and so forth. What if a host decides to go offline, and all this various other bits and pieces that, of course, most of you guys are quite familiar with. So and then he said, why do so many games use them? They have one really big upside. It doesn't cost money to run the servers. Running hundreds of thousands of servers can be extremely expensive. Extremely expensive. A developer like Respawn doesn't have the kind of weight to get a huge price cut from places like Amazon or Rackspace, and we don't have the manpower to manage literally hundreds of thousands of servers ourselves. Microsoft have a cloud-based service called Azure. It's a real thing. You can go to their website and check it out. And Microsoft realized they could use technology to solve our problem, so they built their system to let us create all sorts of tasks that they will run for us, and they can scale up and down automatically as players come and go. We can upload new programs for them to run, and they can handle the deployment for us, and they'll host our game servers for other platforms too. Titanfall uses Xbox Live Cloud to run dedicated servers for PC, Xbox One, and Xbox 360. With the Xbox Live Cloud, we don't have to worry about estimating how many servers we'll need on launch day. We don't need to find all the ISPs all over the globe and rent servers for each one. We don't have to maintain servers or copy new builds onto every server. Most importantly to us, Microsoft priced it so that it's more affordable than any other hosting options. Their goal here is to make it more awesome for games, not take nickel and dime developers. So because of this, dedicated servers are going to be a much more realistic option for developers who don't want to compromise their player experience, and it opens up a lot more things for them to do in online games. He also spoke about various other functions as well, such as you can get even more CPU on a dedicated server to do things like dozens of AI and giant autopilot titans. Suddenly you have no more host advantage. Bandwidth for the servers is guaranteed from any hosted provider. You can use all available CPU and memory to player machines for awesome visuals and audio. Hacked/host cheating isn't an issue. Matchmaking can be lightning fast. It's guaranteed that everyone can connect to the servers, and since the servers aren't going to go disconnect as you watch Netflix, you don't need to migrate hosts anymore. End quote. So this is once again an issue of Microsoft obviously are providing the platform, and developers can do whatever the hell they want with it. It's also nice to see that Microsoft aren't charging them the earth. I suppose though that wouldn't really benefit them, since let's face it, the game's coming out on at least 2 of Microsoft's platforms. So this isn't anything particularly new for us. I think it's just a reiteration of what we've been saying for a long time now. Online servers and so forth are quite expensive, and maintaining those servers can become prohibitively expensive. A lot of Windows Azure stuff is basically cloud-based servers, which of course means that the servers aren't really servers. They are basically just pieces of software running on other pieces of software inside a massive bank of computers, or virtual servers if you will. This basically means that, for example, I'll just give you guys a really simple example, just in case there's still some confusion. Let's assume that you have a Windows-based operating system, let's say Windows Server, which basically is very much like Windows Desktop for those of you who aren't familiar with it, but it has certain components such as, say, IIS, which is for serving and acting as a web server. It may have something like even Windows Hyper-V. Now, Hyper-V actually allows virtual servers and is actually a functionality to create virtual servers from within the Server 2012. Or it could have something different like, say, Active Directory or so forth. Now, in this case, Um, let's assume that your server actually has another server running on top. So in many respects actually looks very much like a desktop client, and you could basically do various things with that. Let's assume that you would create a virtual box or whatever on your own desktop PC. Then you could create that virtual box, and you could allocate that virtual box, say 2 gigabytes of RAM, 1 CPU, and let's say 40 gigabytes of hard drive space, and then by goodness gracious, you could install any operating system you'd like. We are talking about Linux, we are talking about all the various distributions of Linux, Windows, and so forth, and of course, that will be fine and that will be dandy. And in many respects, virtual machines are very much like that, but cloud, of course, it's a lot more scalable, because that means that you have the resources of dozens of different pieces of hardware, if necessary, running in unison. And also, of course, you've got things such as geo-redundancy, redundancy as a whole, and this basically means that, let's say that you are on one piece of hardware, and that piece of hardware falls over, your computer's buggered, right? You're done. On the other hand, if you have multiple copies of that same software basically propagated throughout the world, it means that if something falls over, then you could have that basically another server take its place. It also means that you could spin up machines really quickly. In other words, you could clone a virtual machine very quickly. You could have multiple machines. You can scale your needs up and down as you need them, and this means that the actual price and flexibility is right there for you to be able to just scale things with your need, which is really good, because obviously certain games on launch and so forth, they're going to have this massive window where everyone's clamoring to play them, but then they're going to slowly dovetail away, and you're going to be left with the hardcore people playing, while of course other people are going to move on to the next biggest and best thing, whatever that will be. So anyway, I will be doing a lot more on this stuff, including showing you guys actually how to set up servers and so forth, most likely, just because it'll be fun. But that'll be on a probably advanced video, but I will be showing you guys this stuff anyway, because I think it'd be kind of cool to show, and that will be over the next couple of days. I'm not exactly sure when. As I said, I am working this week, and I will be going out Friday, and I'll be coming back with very little sleep on Saturday, so it'll probably have to be Sunday. I'll have to do it realistically. I would like to do it earlier, but I haven't actually had a good night out in a while, so I'm going out in London, so I'll be back at some point early Saturday. So after I basically slept whatever I can sleep. I'm not exactly the greatest sleeping during the day, but regardless. So yeah, we'll be tackling that stuff and more. So anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I will see you soon. Take care, and bye for now.